Recent interview with one of rock's finest guitarists, Joe Augello of the Burton Cummings Band, and soon the Guess Who on the Outdated Entertainment Hour. Keep on rocking, y'all. Hi, everybody. My name is Bob Smith. You all know me from my years with Good Times Magazine in Long Island and as a performer as Robert Charles. And this is the Outdated Entertainment Hour, special edition. I'm rush releasing this sucker because I was lucky enough to score an interview with a absolutely stellar guitar player who you may not know, but you're about to. His name is Joe Augello, and I'll tell you what, he's a member of the current touring band that performs with Burton Cummings, the former lead singer of the Guess Who. But guess what? Burton Cummings is now the current lead singer of the Guess Who, because the Guess Who is reuniting in 2026. I'm going to tell you all about that. And Joe here, Joe Augello, is going to be part of the Guess Who. So we got a lot of news for you. You're going to discover a great talent. And I'm taking my journalist hat off, and you can't see me do it, but I'm putting my fan hat on. Burton Cummings and the Guess Who were my favorite act growing up, and you always, you never forget your first love. And I'm just going to fanboy it out and have a nice conversation with a really great guy, really cool dude. He's from this area originally. As you know, I'm from the New York City area, and this fellow was too. We're going to have a nice conversation. We're going to learn how he joined Burton Cummings, how the Guess Who reunion took place, all of his experience. He's an amazing musician who's worked with 1,000. I mean, I go through the list of people he's worked with. I mean, Robin Thicke and Jennifer Hudson and the Backstreet Boys, Nicki Minaj, Miley Cyrus. And I'm not saying he was in their bands, but he performed on stage for a lot of these acts and also on recordings. So he's got a great resume, and he's ended up with Burton Cummings, and he's having the time of his life. And you're going to meet him, and I think you're going to have the time of your life, too, when you go out to see Burton Cummings perform, either in Canada or the U.S., within the next couple of years. And then Guess Who is going to be back together in 2026. We're going to tell you how to get tickets and be part of all that. So hold on. Stay tuned. This is fun. I am rush releasing this as a special edition of the Outdated Entertainment Hour. It's going to come out on a weekend, which I never do. I just recorded the interview. I'm floating out of little clouds because this fanboy has just had a nice conversation with a great musician in a great band. It's an awesome band. I mean, in Canada, his backing band is known as the Carpet Frogs, and they're it. I mean, they're just a wonderful group of musicians. So stay tuned. We're going to have a nice conversation. Here's Joe Walsh. We'll start out with Joe Walsh and go into the Burton Cummings Band with his guitarist, Joe Augello. We'll be right back.
This is Joe Walsh. One thing I do when I'm not playing rock and roll is get on the air as an amateur radio operator. Also called ham radio, is a communication service provided by ordinary people just like you and me. We have a national emergency communication system in place 24/7, 365. Find out more about amateur radio at arrl.org/What is ham radio? See you on the air.
Okay, you guys all know that I call myself a kind of a kind of journalist, kind of professional at it, la-di-da-di-da. After all these years writing and performing and all that stuff. I'm going to throw it all out the window. I'm going to be a fanboy for a while because my favorite artist in the world is Burton Cummings of the Guess Who. I grew up, the first album I ever bought was a Guess Who cassette, The Best of the Guess Who, when I was about 12 years old, I think. And they were my band all throughout high school. And when they were on the Midnight Special, I taped it with a cassette player just so I could preserve all those cool songs and stuff like that. And so you all know that because we've already had one show on the Guess Who. I'm happy to announce Guess Who is coming back next year in sort of a new format, but it's Randy Bachman and Burton Cummings, and that's really what matters in this case. And it's going to be great because the backing band is going to be awesome. Now, a few months ago, I saw Burton Cummings at the Westbury Music Fair in Long Island, New York. At the age of 77, he put on probably the best show I've ever saw him do. And I'm serious about that. I know he's got a lot of fans here on the East Coast, and I am very happy to introduce to you the newest member of the Burton Cummings band. His name is Joe Augello. Hello, Joe.
Hey, what's going on, Bob?
Welcome,
good
man.
to see you.
It is good to see you too. We've been talking by email and Facebook and talking about our musical past. We've both done some cool stuff, but you, my friend, have worked with. I can't even begin to believe the list of people you've either recorded with or toured with or whatever. You studied at SUNY,
Yeah.
in Purchase around here, the Conservatory of Music, and you're originally from Elmont, New York, here in Long Island.
Yep.
And now you live in Nashville, which is one of my favorite cities in the country.
Yeah. I grew up on Long Island. I was born in Queens. College Point was my first home. When I was 2, we moved to Elmont. And then I went to Purchase for college, and then I moved to Manhattan for a while. Then I bought a house back on Elmont. We moved back, me and my wife, and then we moved to LA. I stayed in LA for 20 years. 2022, we moved to Nashville. So I've done the Music City trifecta. So I don't know where to go after this one.
Well, Nashville is such a great music town, and every time
it's amazing.
We have a good friend who works in music merchandising who lives in Nashville, and every time we go, he shows us the ropes, shows us the clubs, takes us around, and Nashville has a vibe unlike any other music town in the country. It's in the top 5 of music cities, that Chicago, places like that.
Right.
And let's get to the meat of things.
Yeah.
You're working with Burton Cummings right now and his band.
Yes.
Now, I'm the hugest fan of both him and his band. I would go see, and they're known in Canada as the Carpet Frogs.
The Carpet Frogs, yes.
I would go see them by themselves. They're that good. They're all master players. I mean, Jeff Jones and Tim Bovacanti, and you just go down the list of the guys. They're unbelievable. How did you? Let's start with new and go backwards. How did you hook up with Burton Cummings?
It's very, very random. Well, not random, but through my lawyer. My lawyer Helen, who is also Burton's lawyer. She's the one that got the Guess Who name back for Burton and Randy, and she's the one that masterminded the whole plan. I mean, if you really look into it and read about it, it was a pretty genius move,
Yes, it was, and just let me intercept just for a second. For those who don't know, how do I put this politely? Because I'm not mad at anybody about it, but I didn't like the fact that there was a band running around called the Guess Who that didn't have Burton Cummings in it and Randy Bachman and a lot of replacement players most of the time.
Yeah,
and Burton and Randy felt the same way. This was not right. So they entered into a legal battle over not only the name, but like you say, Burton made a genius move by kind of not letting people perform his music for a long spell. Now he cut himself, financially by doing that. But if a band is calling itself the Guess Who, which Jim Cale apparently trademarked a while back, if they're called the Guess Who and they can't play Guess Who music, there's not much sense in sticking with it. So I guess they all sat down, hammered out a deal together, and now Burton and Randy now have the trademark of the name, and it's the real Guess Who again, and it will be. Early next year. We'll get into that in a little bit. So basically, through your lawyer, you're hooked up with, and okay, what was next?
So it was so strange because there's a little bit of how should I say it, fairy dust in it. I was just every day, every morning I go for a walk by the lake near my house in Nashville, and I just kind of do my thing spiritually, and and I'll listen to podcasts. One day I just saw this podcast with Randy Bachman, and I really didn't know much about these guys. Guess who? I knew the hits, and I knew Burton, and actually the first 45 I ever had was Stand Tall, which was so crazy. As a little
Wow,
kid, my dad had it.
76, yeah.
Yeah. And I swiped it from him at, 5 years old or whatever. And I used to love the song. And so the seed was kind of planted then. But so yeah, one day I just saw this podcast with Randy, and I knew the BTO stuff, obviously. I didn't really know how much of a part of the Guess Who he was. And I saw BTO open up for Van Halen in like 1986. And I was 13, and Edward Van Halen was my life at that point as a guitar player, So if the Beatles opened for Van Halen, I would boo them at that point, So but I knew Randy was good, and those songs where I was like, let me give this guy a chance, So I started listening to him. I was just like, I was blown away by what a brilliant musician he was. I had no idea, I just, I thought it was 3-chord rock, I had no idea, his formal training that he had, and that he was a jazz guitar. I was blown away. And then he started talking about the whole Guess Who thing, and this was before all the stuff happened, and I was like, wow, I had no idea about any of this, and so I was like, I was really blown away. I was like, I have to really dig into this stuff. And I kid you not even 2 weeks later, I get a call from Helen. And she was just like, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? And I hadn't talked to her for a while, so I was just, I was like hoping I didn't like owe her money or anything. So I was like, what's up? And she's like, hey, do you know anything about the Guess Who? And I was like, you're damn right I do. It's like, I just listened to this whole thing. Yeah. And she was, she just told me that, well, what she did and everything. And she's like, hey, Burton is able to play in the US now and play these songs, and they need a guitar player, and you're the guy. And I was like, huh? Like it was just so out of the blue. And at the time I was playing with Gary LeVox, who's the singer for Rascal Flatts. I was doing gigs with him, and mostly there was 2 of us doing the gigs. And so I wasn't really like full time with him. They were getting ready to reunite Rascal Flatts, so I knew that I wasn't going to be working at all with him for a long time. And so it was just like this perfect thing that just happened, Yeah, within a couple of weeks, I was in Canada rehearsing with them, and it was great, And it was great to just dig into the music, because I was like, wait, I know this song. I love this song. So it was just all this, I have in my musical world, there are certain bands that I save because I want to just dive into them, whether it was like the band, I was like, I'm saving those guys for when I'm like 40, or something, And so this was kind of that thing. And it was so inspiring for me. And then just, it was the second I walked into the rehearsal room, it was just like I found like a new family, where I can't even tell you how amazing this whole thing is.
So you just walked in and it fit, basically.
It like that. Yeah.
Astounding.
I have to give credit to Burton's manager and partner, Carrie, and Tim for Tim Bovacanti, the other guitar player, who they just handed me all the things that I would need to know, just so organized. And it was a walk in the park. It for me is just, I didn't have to even ask any questions. I just sat and learned all the material and walked in, and it felt so good. We just we clicked automatically. Yeah, and in a couple of days we were on the road, and we haven't stopped really. It's September 1st was our first rehearsal, so that was basically the day I started. And we've done a bunch of runs in the US now,
Right,
and
yeah.
some in Canada, and we're still going. We're finishing out the year, with Burton's got a new album out.
Yes,
A
called A Few
few
Good Moments, folks.
Yeah, yeah. And 17 songs, and they're all great. He's still inspired, he's still writing, it's just a joy to be in his presence, and to be playing all these songs, and just the love that's on that stage. It's very, very infectious.
It is infectious, and I am
Mm.
going to make a statement, and I'm going to stand by it, and I
Mhm.
don't wanna sound like I'm biased.
Mhm.
There is no better rock and roll band on a Saturday night than Burton Cummings and his band. It That band screams Saturday night. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? In other
Mhm.
words,
Oh,
it's
absolutely,
almost like a
absolutely.
celebration of his history in rock and roll and his
Mhm.
solo career, his Guess Who hits, obviously, couple
Mhm.
of new songs, couple of covers. It just works. When we're at the Westbury show that I told you I attended, I invited 3 people. And
Mhm.
before they walked in, they were kinda unsure, and I said, "Listen, if you're not overly familiar with the name, once you sit down, you will listen to this concert, and you'll not know maybe 3 songs,
Right, right.
maybe 4." I said, "3 or 4, maybe."
Mhm.
I said, "Sit back and relax and enjoy." And at the end, they all raved about it. Every one of them. They said that was spectacular. They didn't say it
Yeah,
was good, they said it
yeah.
was spectacular.
Right, right, right. One
And
of
it
my
was.
friends, yeah, one of my friends came, and he's a guitar player, and he goes, "It was so good that by the 3rd song, I forgot you were on the stage." He said
There you go, yeah, yeah.
he's like, I forgot that you were even in the band, because he was like,
Mhm.
"I was so captivated by Burton." He was like, "It was incredible." Yeah, and with every show, he gets better and better, and it's so inspiring to be around someone that's just so passionate about what he does, and he knows how special these songs are, and he just knows to be a performer, especially when you're a sideman. You really have to know your place, and you have to know what your job is, and it comes with a lot of purpose, and I'll get into that at some point. But I mean that there's a lot of purpose in what we do. To these fans are coming, and these songs are just so important to them. And we have to deliver. We work really hard to make sure that these people get every ounce of their money's worth. And I mean, it's easy in a way for us, because we just love it. We love doing it. We love being together. We're always together. And we spend so much time together. And when we're apart, we're always talking to each other, texting, and it's a family. It's a musical family. And I'm so grateful and blessed to be a part of it. I would never thought that this was something that I would be a part of, especially from most of the gigs that I've done in the past are very different than this.
Let me ask you a
Yeah,
question. You're
yeah.
walking in for your earliest rehearsal, right?
Mhm.
And you're looking around, you see Burton Cummings, obviously, but you're
Mhm.
thinking probably in your head, if you knew the music at all, that you're stepping in the shoes of 3 exceptional lead guitarists in Randy Bachman, Kurt Winter, and Dominic Triano, right?
Right,
And
right.
and it's like, did every musician has fear as well as confidence. Even if you're very
Mhm.
confident, there is that thought that, "Oh gosh, am I gonna measure up?" Did you have any of
Right.
that trepidation stepping in there?
At this point in my career, and in my faith in myself, I know what needs to be done, and I think I know how to do that. I bet on myself taking each song and finding all the different versions and stuff, and you get to listen, and you get to know what the artist wants to hear, and I think I'm really good at doing that. It's one of the strengths that I think I have as a player, and a sideman, is to know um what the artist wants to hear. And Burton called me twice before we even had a rehearsal, which was amazing in itself. Never once has the artist called me just to say hello, and just to introduce himself. I thought that was incredible. We had a few conversations before the first rehearsal, and so we just talked about things, and I I knew where he was coming from. I know that he wanted things to be pretty seamless. I know how to balance what should be there and where maybe I can take my own liberties to enhance what I wanted. And it's been great. It's just been awesome. Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of pressure. I've been doing this a while.
I could read a list of about 30 artists he's
Right.
worked with, so
Well,
he's obviously got what it takes to perform under any style
right.
and any circumstance,
Well,
really.
the main part, and I told this to Burton right away, is, my job is to honor the music, honor the legacy, to play the parts that are, that these people are coming to, wanting to hear, and do it the way it's supposed to be done, and, when you take on that role, you have to get inside the head of these players. It's not just learning the songs. It's not learning, the riffs and the solos. And, you have to really, it's kind of like some Mr. Miyagi stuff. You have to, I remember, I'm a big Rocky fan, in Rocky IV, when he fights the Russian, his manager says to him, to beat him, you got to take his heart. And it's kind of a thing, it's like, that's where I listen to the heartbeat, of the guitars, and I think that is really where you have to start, So yeah, it gets a little deep, but yeah, I think, by now I know how to do it, I know how to really walk that fine line. So yeah, when we got in there, it was like a love fest. The first group of rehearsals was just like, wow. Everybody was in a great mood because I think Burton was in a place where, things were changing, so he was unsure of what was going to happen. And all the right pieces just came into place at the right time. And yeah, man, we're having a ball. We're having a ball. Like, the shows go by very quickly with us, and I'm like, oh man, can we do like 3 more?
Yeah.
That it's that kind of gig, you don't want to leave the stage. You don't want to stop playing. So it's, yeah.
The audience picks up on that too. The audience definitely picked up on that. I mean, it's like, first of all, I just want to compliment you in the fact that it sounds, it's funny. You all bring your individual styles. I mean, everybody plays different than, let's say, Jim Cale. Jim Cale doesn't sound like
Randy
or any of them, any of the original players. And we all know what the records sound like if you're a fan,
Right.
But when you guys all blend your talents together in this particular band, it's authentic as it gets. I mean, it's the real thing.
Yeah.
Even though a couple of the other original members aren't there, it sounds perfect. And
right.
nobody leaves one of those shows going, oh, they don't sound like they used to. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing to pull off because decades have passed since these songs were new.
Well, I think it's just honoring what his legacy is, and we all love the music. So we want it to sound the way it's supposed to sound, Guitar players are tough, man. I've played with a lot of great guitar players, and I've seen a lot of great sidemen. A lot of them sometimes will just, they can get through the song and just they're just waiting for their time to shine with their guitar solos and stuff. I'm the opposite. I'll spend hours, just trying to get a note that like Randy's bending a certain way, in one of the songs, so it's there's no egos in this band. And it's the first time I've been in a situation like that, where everyone's just like, we're a team, and we're all, for the same goal.
But one thing about the Guess Who that people don't give them no credit for, they were really tasty musicians. I mean, those songs are very, very tasteful. And one of the things that you bring to the band is the fact that you know when to lay back. Like I was listening to play acoustic on a couple songs in the show, and I'm like, man, he's just filling up that sound perfect. That's really cool because it's like,
thank you.
Some people have a tendency to overplay, and nobody in that band does. Yet they're all kicking ass. It's like they're so skilled as musicians. Every one of them. I mean, Burton on the keyboards. Come on, please.
Oh man, we're doing one of the songs off the new album now, which is a cover of Archangel's song. It's called "The Shape I'm In."
Yep.
And man, when he like we did it last night, and just I want to stop playing because I just want to hear his piano playing. I mean, as soon as the band kicks in and he's playing, it's like the groove is so heavy.
Yes,
He's
it
just
is.
oh man, what an amazing musician he is.
Well, there's the thing. I mean, that's my favorite song on the new album, and the reason is it has a lot of that Guess Who flavor.
Yeah, yeah.
I think the song sounds like
Totally
the Guess Who.
does.
If that record said the Guess Who on it, you'd believe it.
Right. Absolutely. And it's been like a crowd favorite since we put it in the set.
Naturally, you guys didn't play it in Westbury. I was kind of hoping you would. One concert I saw he didn't play it, but what can you do? What can you do?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many songs at this point,
How do you know what to cut out of a set list? I know.
Well, someone always gets mad, a few shows ago, we take our bows. Someone was like yelling at me, like, "You didn't do Star Baby," and I'm like, we just played for 2 hours. It's like we try. We want to mix it up because we definitely have people that come to multiple shows. We don't want it to be stale. We don't want it to give a repeat performance. That's one of the great things about Burton and this band. It's like it's so not a legacy act at all. We're not going through any motions at all. It's all heart. So
well, it must be tough formulating a set list because the Guess Who had 14 top 40 hits.
Yeah,
14. All right, you can't play them all. Even the Stones. I've seen the Stones, and the Stones don't play every hit they've ever had. You couldn't squeeze them in.
Right. Yeah.
So what do you do? Well, I think they do a masterful job at I know that Burton tailors his shows to both U.S. and Canadian audiences. Like, is he playing Running Back to Saskatoon up north?
Yes. Yeah.
And
we just did a
play
show
it down here.
Right. And Break It to Them Gently will always play in Canada because it was a huge hit,
Right.
So he knows his demographics. He knows, what works where. Yeah. We don't have a set list. We just have a song list, and wherever he's feeling is where we go. And
does he ever improvise and call off something that's not on the list?
Yeah, but nothing that we haven't, played.
You don't know,
ever.
Right?
Or he'll just do something like Sour Sweet, and he'll just do it by himself. What did we do last night that we haven't played in a long time? There was one song. Oh man, I totally forgot. But yeah, we did something that we haven't done in a long time, and I was like, all right. and it was the JJ Cale song that we do.
They play that one in Westbury, right?
Yes. So now I think we swapped that out for A Shape I'm In. But last night we did both of them. So Trouble in the City. That's the one. So we did that. That was the first time we've done it on this whole tour. So that was But it's straight up rock and roll. We can get through it. Yeah,
it's straight up rock and roll. It's Saturday night every time you guys perform. That's the best way I can put it. You know what I mean? It's like it's more of a celebration than a concert, featuring people who really like each other. I know those Burton Frogs are amazing, and on top of it,
so I did my first Carpet Frogs gig a couple of weeks ago.
You're playing with them.
Well, for that gig, I just happened to be in town. And it was the night before one of our shows. We did Casino Rama, and the night before we had the Carpet Frogs had a show in Wasaga Beach. So Nick, who's basically he's the man in charge, and he was just like, "Man, you got to do the gig with us." So it was great. Yeah, we had a ball. So I officially became an honorary Carpet Frog.
I'm telling you, if they came to the U.S., I'd be first to buy tickets. I'm telling you.
Oh man,
I think they're awesome musicians. They just are. Jeff Jones, come on. I mean, all of them. What's the drummer's name again? Drummer's name?
Sean Fitzsimons.
Does he? Is he amazing in that he looks like he's having a blast every beat?
And he's an amazing singer. He's an incredible singer. Is
that right?
And he doesn't sing much during the set, but when he does, you can hear it. we all grew up as song guys, you know. We all write music, you know. We're song guys, you know. We sit up all night on the bus and we just talk about albums. We talk about, you know, our favorite songs. I mean, we just go and go and go. The passion for music between all of us is just, it's so deep. I think that has a lot to do with it. Again, honoring the music, because those are the guys that we are. Those are our heroes. That's how we learn. It's a great thing, especially for me, being in the pop world that I was in for so long. Yeah, I worked with amazing musicians, but in a very different world. So it's great to just come up on stage. You know, Burton kicks it off and we go. There's no backing tracks. There's no click tracks. There's no nothing. Every sound that comes out of those speakers is from us playing. We speed up, we slow down. We're a rock and roll band. You know, it really is. You know.
Yes.
And Burton says it all the time.
Purest sense of the word rock and roll, you guys are rock and roll.
Yeah.
It's like, and there were very few of them around anymore. I mean, in terms of just the simplicity of the presentation.
Right.
Well, sure, you use modern techniques. I mean, everything has changed in terms of amplification and, you know, stuff is better now. Guitars and amps are way better now than they were when the Guess Who were starting out. I can tell you that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sound
so
systems.
you have less stage, you have less bass amps blowing up and all that stuff.
Right.
Which happened to every band back in the day.
Yeah.
Now you have the privilege of great musicians with great equipment. And everything just kind of goes pretty seamlessly.
Yeah. We're in a great time now to do this the proper way. And Burton, you know, he always references Manfred Mann in 1965. You know, and he's like, that was his benchmark for this. You know, he says it all the time. In fact, we've been doing this song, The One in the Middle by Manfred Mann, and it's kind of like it's how he introduces the band now. You know, he substitutes our names for the ones in the Manfred Mann stuff. So he's just he's on such a high right now, and he's loving it. And you know, we're just going to keep going and going. We're not stopping. So,
you know, he hasn't worked this much in a long time. Like last year into this year into 2026. I haven't seen him work this much in 15 years, maybe longer.
Yeah. No, this is he's got a new lease on life now. It's just he doesn't want to stop.
Thank goodness art won, if you know what I mean. Art. The art of music. What music is supposed to be, presented by the people who originally created it.
Right.
I understand that. And when you know, like I said, when this little legal squabble happened, I had two words that I posted on Facebook. I said, art wins. Because now the real players will play the real songs. And I'm happy to announce that Burton Cummings and Randy Bachman are going to reunite under the moniker The Guess Who for the first time in a long time, since probably 21 years or something like that.
Yeah.
And they're starting out February 23 to 27 on the Rock Legends Cruise. Go to rocklegendscruise.com. They're pretty much, from what I can see, they're kind of like an unofficial headliner on this thing. They were late, but they put them right on top. And there's a lot of great acts like this, like Eric Burden and the Animals, and you know,
Loverboy,
Kevin Cronin's band now. Just a whole mess of great artists. John Oates. Just go down the list. It's an amazing roster.
Yeah, we did it this year, actually.
And I'm happy to announce that Burton's backing band will also be performing with Randy Bachman on those upcoming shows. So you're going to be a Guess Who guy. How does that feel?
Yeah. Oh, it's incredible. We were talking about it last night after the show. Just, you know, how amped up we all are. You know, right now, I mean, it's just a cruise. So we're just figuring out, I guess, you know, when we're going to start to rehearse and, you know, what the set list is going to be. But yeah, it's going to be great, especially because they're both doing well now. You know, they're both in good shape. You know, Burton's going to sing his butt off. So yeah, we're totally psyched. You know, things are going to just, you know, whatever, you know. I have to be careful.
I will say that about 7 months before Burton played Westbury Music Fair, Randy's new version of BTO played.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
same venue.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
were awesome. They were great. I mean, they're
Mm-hmm.
Randy sits down now. Let's face it, he's like
Mm-hmm.
81. Go ahead,
Mm-hmm.
sir. Please sit down and play. It's
Yeah.
all fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll tell you
Absolutely.
what, they rocked the house, and they almost
Mm-hmm.
if there were 5 seats in the whole venue open, I
Yeah.
didn't see him.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
it was a magical night because I left going, that's the best I've heard him sound in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's awesome. Yeah.
so I just want to tell people, go to randybachman.com if you're interested in seeing BTO as they tour
Mm-hmm.
Canada and right now.
Yeah.
If you're interested in Burton Cummings, go to burtoncummings.com and you'll find out where to get tickets for all the upcoming shows, which you really should do. Now,
Mm.
have you met Randy Bachman yet?
No, not yet. No.
Oh gosh.
So,
All right.
well, this last bunch of months, I mean, we've been so busy. This is Burton's year. And we're so concentrated on that we were just focused on the shows and being on the road for this tour. So right now that's really where we're at. The year finishes, then I think we'll see what's coming up for 2026. I know he's got some new music that we've talked about recording and stuff, and so there's that as well. We'll see. I mean, we're having such a ball right now that the outside world with all that stuff, is just right. We're just focused on this. So it's
Well,
going to be great when it happens.
well, I'll tell you what, a Burton Cummings and his band show is just, I'll say it again, if you're into, well, classic rock and roll, I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah.
You got, there is no better band out there right now. I mean, I'm not blowing smoke at you. I said it before you joined the band. Now it's even better with you there. But I am telling you, there's nothing else like it out there. You will feel invigorated when you leave the theater. And I think the band does too, from judging from the way they act.
Absolutely. I think about, we do this, one song and the crowd goes nuts, and I'm just like, wait till what's coming next, and it just keeps getting, amped up more and more and more, and it's just great to see that, because these songs are really, really special. They're really important to the people that love them, and you just see them. You see people crying. You see people singing.
Yes.
All of the song, all the lyrics, they know, they even know our versions. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's great to see that, and it just makes us work harder, because we want to be at our best all the time. So
Here's the amazing thing about music. I'm sitting second row and I'm looking back to see where my friends are sitting and all this stuff. They were in a different spot than we were. And I'm looking back and I see some, I'd say, college-age women. And I see them sitting there and they're mouthing along. They're singing along with the song. And I see the older fans singing along. And I look over there and I see children rocking out. And I see people with gray hair. They're rocking out.
Yeah.
Only rock and roll can bring everybody together like that, no matter the age, no matter when these records were new, and bring them together. And like I said, what excites me the most about a Burton Cummings concert is once you leave, you just say, I can't believe it was that good.
Yeah. I'm surprised. Well, not surprised, but it's great to see a lot of young people at our shows that know the songs. We did a festival a couple weeks ago up in Canada. I think it was in Kingston, loaded with young kids, and they were all singing along. I was like, wow, I have younger cousins that are maybe like 10, 15 years younger than me. And all these years of touring, they never asked to come to any of the shows that I played. And now when I'm with Burton, they come and they know all the songs. One of my cousins had all the albums, he wanted Burton to sign. I'm like, where did you get this from? Like I didn't, it wasn't really on my radar as much, but yeah, it's just great to see the wide range of ages at these shows. It's amazing. Again, like you said, the power of music, the power of a great song, it transcends time. So it's awesome, man. I couldn't be any happier to be honest. This is like, you have dreams as a musician, of where you want to be and what you want to do. But then there's these other dreams that you didn't know that you had, And those are the really special ones. And this is the top of the list for that for me.
I look back. I'm not in your league at all, but I will say this: in my musical career, I was on stage with BB King 10 times. I jammed, but one
Amazing.
particular jam, I got to jam with John Mayer for a while, and or one show, I should say. And I toured the country myself, everything from the Chicago Blues Festival to the corner bar, because that's how blues is. I look back at it now. I'm too old to do it now, but I will say this: boy, I was lucky. Even that level, as I said, nothing like what you're doing, but even the ability to be a working musician is a wonderful thing. I mean, and a lot of people aspire to that and never quite get over that hump, if you know what I mean. You probably had friends that were like that, really talented, but for some reason they're just not where they want to be.
Yeah.
So the fact that you could do what you choose to do, go out and entertain people, which is really what it's about. You're there to entertain others.
To me, and especially the guys in the band, it doesn't matter where you're playing or who you're playing for. It's all the same. I always say, I've played Madison Square Garden and I've played the Olive Garden, and they're both equally is epic to me. I remember in LA, I played at the Staples Center. I forget what it's called now, but the big arena in LA. And the next night I played like Steve's Rib Shack with my buddies, and I had just as much fun, doing that as I did playing for 20,000 people,
It's funny. I played the South Street Seaport once. I was the headliner, believe it or not. The jazz station, I can't remember what it was. They had just a soft jazz station in New York. And they booked me as a headliner in an afternoon. There's just like 10,000 people in front of us.
CD 101.9.
That was it. And one of their DJs introduced the show. 3 days later, I'm playing my usual weekend gig where 6 people showed up or something like that. And I'm like, what's wrong with this picture? But you know what?
Yeah.
It's the doing it that's important. The fact that you have the ability to get out in front of people and entertain them is really kind of a blessing, really.
Yeah, it totally is. And like I said, there's a lot of purpose that is behind that, and I think that if you understand that whether you're playing with Burton Cummings, for 10,000 people, or you're playing in just a bar band where, people really need to have fun, they need to be moved, not just to be entertained, in this world. You don't have to leave your house, to be entertained. You could, stare at your phone for an hour and laugh, But if people are coming out, especially in these last bunches of years where people were scared to be in crowds, and people didn't want to be around a lot of people. And, concert tickets aren't cheap anymore.
Well, they're not, are they?
No. So if they're coming to see us under those circumstances, they need to be moved. You know what I mean? They entertaining them is not enough. They need to be moved. They have to hear these songs. They have to hear them a certain way. And that's the difference between a musician that's, working and a musician that really understands what their job is. I think once you understand that, I play a lot in church. And I think I learned a lot from that, the power of your instrument and the way you have to use it can change people's lives. That's what we're put on here for. We've been given a gift, and you have to use it for the good of other people. I know it might sound a little corny, a little heady, but
that's absolutely true. That's it's funny. I was hosting a jam once after a festival show, and they opened up this huge bar, and all the headliners of this festival came and played together as a jam. And the guitar player in my band is walking around going, "I'm going to blow these guys off the stage. I'm going to burn. I'm going to show them all who." And I'm thinking to myself, dude, we're here to enjoy each other's group. We're not here to compete. That was just my thought in my head. I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
But I was like, we're here to enjoy each other's groove and enjoy the music as well as the people listening are. rather
Right,
than
right,
trying
right.
to prove some kind of an egotistical point. You agree with that statement? Or?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I think, the older you get, all of those things kind of just wash away. Yeah, there was times in my life when I was competitive, because I needed to shine to work,
Mhm, mhm,
Um, but now, you come into terms with who you are, and again, the purpose is what is the most important thing. So for me at this point, that there's none of that. There's none of that stuff that will deter my purpose. And the ego is such a powerful thing. I mean, look, you know, our job depends on people liking us. If they don't
mhm.
like us, we don't work. We don't eat. So there is a little bit of that, but at the same time, you know, being in a band or being in a collective, we're all the star. You know what I mean? We're all competing. We're all um going for the same outcome. And I think that's when you have people that understand that. That's when you make magic. Every time I step on stage with these guys, it's just you know it's magic. It really is. Taking myself out of the equation. I wish I could stop and just listen.
Mhm.
Um, like when Tim, does his solos, like I just want to stop and listen. I'm like, oh man, I gotta play. I gotta
Right, right.
support him.
Mhm.
And it's great, man. It's just when you get to that place where you're with people that understand it and people that know what they're supposed to do. It's amazing. Like there's no drama in this situation. Nobody argues. Nothing's perfect, but this is pretty close as it comes.
Well, Joe, I will tell you this. Like I said, the first album I ever bought with my own money,
Mhm,
it was a Guess Who cassette, if you can imagine.
mhm.
You know what a cassette is? You're a little
Of
younger than
course.
I am,
Oh,
but
I
yeah, there you
don't
go.
know about. I'm 52 years old. Believe me.
Yeah.
I had eight
This is one of
tracks. I
those
had.
it's one of those guys who's 52 and he looks like he's 27. I'm jealous as all hell. But in any event I just wanna say this. All these decades have passed and we went through the disco era and the changes in
Mhm.
music and, we had new wave, we had, the different decades have different sounds, and now it's pretty much pop stars rule the roast. But you always love your first love. You
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
look I don't care who you are, the music you loved in high school will always be your favorite music.
Right.
You'll
Absolutely.
listen to 1,000 things and love those too, but your favorite
Hmm.
will be what brought you to the dance.
Right. Right.
And I just wanna say
Absolutely.
to you, Joe, thank you.
Oh man.
What you guys are doing out there is almost miraculous, and
Uh,
and for those of you listening who
mhm.
haven't seen a Burton Cummings concert, and like I said, they'll be the Guess Who next year as well. In fact, I'll say this about Randy Bachman too. If they come to your town, go.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
go.
absolutely,
You know,
absolutely.
they will entertain you in a way that is kinda old school, but in a way that's refreshing right now in 2025. And the world needs a little happiness, and you guys really provide it. And I just one more time wanna
Mm.
say
Oh
thank
man.
you so much, man. You're a
Thank
tremendous
you.
and by the way, this is a tasty, tremendous player. You will enjoy hearing him and seeing him perform, and, good things, I hope, keep happening for Joe Augello
Oh
because you
man.
know what? You're a
Thank
hell
you,
of a
sir.
player, man.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I'm blessed. I'm very, very blessed. I'm very fortunate. I know what it takes to to be a professional musician for all these years, and there's definitely an illusion of, that
Right.
people see. They see you on the stage, they see the lights, they see all this stuff, the big stages, and it's like any other job in a way. And I can't call it a job. We don't work music, we play music.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, but it's a tough business, and it's getting tougher and tougher. And as you get older, it's way tougher. I'm so fortunate. I'm so grateful that I get to do this, and on this level, and with these people. is incredible, you know. So I count my blessings every day. I thank God every day for everything, you know. And yeah, I'm so grateful. So
That's great.
yeah.
Now, how can people find you on social media and whatnot? If
Um
people will get interested in you and your I'll tell you
yeah,
what, you got to read this guy's biography because when you see this list of name after name after name from R&B to pop to all these people he's worked with, you'll fall on the floor. You've worked with
yeah,
everybody, or
yeah, yeah.
recorded or toured or laid down some
Mhm.
licks. You know, you've done it all. But how can people find you if they want to know more about you?
Um, on Facebook, I guess it's just my name, Joe Augello, Augello. Think Instagram, it's just Joe Augello Music. I forget what else I have. I think that's it. And I have some stuff on TikTok. You know, just my name. You know, so yeah, that's that's it. I go up and down with the social media stuff. You know, sometimes I'll be pretty active, and sometimes I forget about it. So
Well,
it's
you're busy too. I mean, the life on the
yeah,
road
yeah,
doesn't give you a whole lot of free time, really.
yeah, yeah. You know, I try and update and you know, at least post some pictures and if videos if we can, you know. But yeah, yeah, I'm there, you know. Yeah, the social media thing is weird for me. You know, I joined it very late compared to everybody else. I think it was like 2016, which was probably the worst time to to jump into
Yeah.
to that world, you know. And I was just like, what is this? This is strange. It's like going to a party with like everyone you've ever met in your whole life, you know. They just start popping up and I'm like, "Oh man, you're the kid that used to piss his pants in nursery school." You
Oh
know, and
gosh,
then
yeah.
like, you know, and I get a thing from Frank Stallone, you know, like, where do you come from?" You know, so it's
Oh my
like, you know,
gosh.
well, you know, it's just very bizarre. But yeah, yeah, you know, I try and be somewhat active on it. So, but yeah,
Well,
man.
I am proud to have introduced all my listeners here. In case they haven't heard of you, I want to introduce Joe Augello of the Burton Cummings band and the Guess Who. This is cool
Thank you
stuff,
for that. Yeah, man.
and do me a favor, give
Yeah,
everybody in your scene my regards. I know nobody's ever heard of
absolutely.
me. My,
Absolutely.
but actually, I met Burton. I met Burton
Mhm,
in Toronto, I believe, in the year 2001 when they played the Molson Center. They were touring. No,
mhm,
2001 was the U.S. tour. It had to be 2000.
mhm,
In the year 2000 at the Molson Center. This is what a fan I am. We
mhm.
flew to Canada to see the reunited Guess Who
Oh, wow.
because it was a real band. And I'm
Mhm.
thinking to myself, how long are they going to be around? I mean, is this a temporary thing?
Yeah.
Is it permanent? I didn't know. So we invested. We got on a plane,
Mhm,
flew to Canada specifically to see the Guess Who. That's
mhm.
how much of a fan I was.
Amazing,
So
amazing.
yeah, and it was worth it because we got to meet them and it was a
Yeah,
wonderful
yeah,
time.
yeah,
So
yeah.
in any
That's
event,
awesome.
Joe, thank you again. Good luck on
You
the
got
road.
it,
Stay
brother.
safe out there,
Oh,
and
man.
I hope to bump into you guys sometime soon again.
Oh, yeah, yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back, that's for sure, you
You
know?
better, because I need some fun,
Yes.
man, and there's nothing more fun than one of those shows.
We got you, brother. Thank you, Bob. It was great talking to you, man.
You too. Nice to meet you.
Alright, take care.
Attention, Gen Xers. If you'd like to explore the era that appeals to you, look no further than GenerationXWire.com. The generation who grew up with elite in entertainment, music, movies, TV, books, pro wrestling, and more finally has a one-stop destination for all their Gen X needs. From Aerosmith to Batman to the Killer Bees to the Twilight Zone, there's something for everybody at GenerationXWire.com. You won't find a more eclectic mix of pop culture content than at the leading website that specializes in the greatest generation, GenerationXWire.com. Check it out today. Well, this special rush release edition of the Outdated Entertainment Hour is in the books. We're going to stay on our bi-weekly schedule, and we have a show coming out very soon, this upcoming Wednesday with Glenn Brigette. We're going to look at notable Rock and Roll Hall of Fame omissions, people who should be there who haven't been in yet. So we hope you'll come back very soon and listen for that one. That's going to be coming out this coming week. But in the meantime, I realize we're going to have 2 editions of the show out at the same time, but you know what? This is timely what I just did, and I wanna make sure that it's out in time for people to take advantage of, seeing the bands that are talked about, so there. My show, I'll do what I want. But in any event, that's it for now. Like I said, Glenn Burgett, cut this coming Wednesday with a tremendous show. He's a great radio guy. And, we gotta hang on to our local radio, if you know what I mean. It's very serious these days, and I don't know what to say other than, if you got local radio, embrace it, listen to it, support it, all right? Seriously, it's an important thing. I'm gonna be off my soapbox now, but in any event, write to us, outdatedent, it's outdatedent@gmail.com. Complaints, queries, reviews, whatever you wanna say, questions, we're happy to answer. Find me on Facebook. I'm the only Bob Smith singing with BB King. You just type in Bob Smith. If you see me and BB King, that's me. I'm also available as outdated_Bob at Instagram, X, Threads, and Blue Sky. All those places. Both this podcast, the Outdated Entertainment Hour, and the Outdated Wrestling Hour are productions of Bob Smith Podcasts. A business I may be expanding very soon. Seriously. I have an idea, and I think I'm gonna follow up on it. I have a concept, not for me, but for you guys. What could that possibly mean? Well, I'll get into that very, very soon. In any event, Joe Augello, what a wonderful guy. Boy, talk about having your head screwed on straight, man. And he is so good. If you see the Burton Cummings band on a local Ticketmaster or something, get out there and see them. They're a tremendous rock and roll band. You will not be disappointed. I stake my reputation as both a fan and journalist on that. They're an impeccable rock and roll band. Just this real spirit of rock and roll lives on through these guys. Just wonderful. Jeff Jones, Tim Bovacante, the rest of the band. Whoa. I mean, they're awesome. They're awesome. The Carpet Frogs, Burton Cummings together. Can't get enough. I'll be there if I can be there every time. But in any event, my name is Bob Smith. You might know me from my print work, and this is the Outdated Entertainment Hour. Thank you for listening. Thanks for joining us on a special impromptu edition of the Outdated Entertainment Hour. We will be back in just a few days with another show, which I'm really looking forward to. We're on a music kick right now. We go from artists who should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and our next show will be all about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Glaring omissions, shall we say. Join us. Here's a guy who is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Ringo Starr. And you know what he says to this day? He'll still give you a peace sign and say, peace and love, brothers and sisters. Peace and love.